Sandstorm.
Crystallize on top lane. VP does see them. They have vision here. This could be very scary.
He has the Eye of Scully. They have the vision on top of Crystallize. They know he has the BKB though, so I think they're just not really that afraid.
Look at how much damage Crystallize is taking from these bloody Naga illusions.
Please use your Midas, Crystallize. Oh, fine. I felt like it was a whole eternity where he hadn't used it. Magical with the haste room, the Yules. He's probably going to find Solo just in time. No, he didn't have the vision for it.
Close, but not quite. Meanwhile, looks like no one is actually going for an AT as well, and he's actually fairly close. He has no firing item, but he's still keeping up with the Leshrac rather well. 0, 0, and 7. That's the classic Dragon Knight score.
Yes, I mean, we talked about no one going for some sort of initiation item, but it looks like he's decided his role in these fights is just to be a tank.
I say initiate with a song into start option for sure.
Roger, they've now scouted him out, but he knows he's being seen. That's why they had the Manifest, but Crystallize on the back line. And one, take down this Enigma very, very quickly.
Yeah. 3 hits, all it takes.
And is that enough for them to be able to go into Roshan?
But actually, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look like Roger has buyback, so they have 30 seconds to take this Roche. And that should be ample time.
Ramses, however, is being very annoying with these Naga illusions. He's just cutting all the waves from this point. It just means that even once they get this Roshan, it's going to be a long while before the side of Navi are able to get their push on.
And so the Sven ulti did run out. Roche is going down rather slowly, but Enigma is still 5 seconds away from being alive again.
Yeah, so they are going to get this Roche uncontested. Crystallize has to make it to jungle to use his Midas. And he blinks up to use it. I agree with that right now.
They see Ramses now. And he doesn't have a Manta, so he can do some fancy Manta dodge. If he tries to TP, he could go down here.
Yeah, Zayak, is he going to be juked up even though he doesn't know he's being juked? He does have... Okay, so Ramsey...
TP now is going to be fast enough.
Oh, that TP, it's going to be cancelled. They have the Meteor Hammer as well after it. Crystallize, he's right there. Doesn't have Godstrength, but I don't think he needs it. With the help of Blizzy, so much chain stun. Just look at this chain stun in the death summary. It's a whole bunch of... It's 10 seconds worth. And that doesn't count the end of the Split Earth because he was dead by then.
Feels bad, man. Actually feels good, man. Naga dying. Always nice.
You are so prejudiced against the Slytherin? What, do you know the name of that race that Naga Siren is?
I think it's Slytherin.
Anyway.
I don't know. You think I use my spare time to look up on Naga lore? Come on, man.
She says it. She says it. It's one of her voice lines.
You think I play Naga?
No, it's such a relaxing experience. I mean, the enemy team are like, oh no, not Naga, but it's a great game for you.
Get out.
Anyway, Navi a bit more serious now. They actually they put the Aegis on Magical. I thought they might put it on Crystallize so that he can be their frontline man. But this last remaining tier 2 is very low.
I like this from Navi because on Sven, super reliant on your God Strength and your BKB, and you only have one of both. So as soon as you die without them, you're pretty much useless anyway. While Naga can, Leshrac can use all of his HP and mana twice very efficiently, because he doesn't really have big cooldowns.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a Storm Spirit in that respect when it's a magic damage based hero.
Yep, for sure. Right, so no one does have the money to finish up his AC if he wants to. Has his level 18 as well, which is a lot less strong than it used to be because the Elder Dragonform no longer pierces BKB. So it isn't really free Scuddy anymore, which was one of the saddest changes for Dragon Knight. But still, it's very nice when the BKBs get shorter. Yeah,
the pings do come. They had some sort of idea that the Dragon Knight was here, but keep it away. They're not going to find him. But they're going into this jungle, and Pasha, his positioning here is brilliant to break the smoke, I thought. But no, he actually just dives down into that room. They have the song to be able to reset, so I don't think anyone should go down. but they're pursuing for Naga, not staying on them, and it means they're going to be able to kill off this Pangolier. Oh, he leaps to the low ground, but he is stunned up by the use of that Spike Cavern. That Naga Siren Song, I thought he was just going to stick around and stay with the Pangolier.
He didn't, and Zayats capitalized beautifully. Very well played by this Nyx. Once again, this is kind of an opening, but it doesn't look like it's gonna be long enough for Navi to attempt a high ground push. They can maybe deal a little bit of damage. I wouldn't expect anything significant from this pickoff.
Yeah, the lane is coming here in the mid lane, so Magical, if he wants with the Aegis, it's only going to be around for another minute and a half. So it looks like he's more than happy to put some pressure on, but they have the stun, but the Yule set to interrupt yet. The static storm, it doesn't really matter. Meanwhile, on the backline, Crystallize, he's killed one. He is affected by the diffuser bait and he's losing all his mana. But Blizzy, he's here. They're pinging out onto Ramses. Busy, he misses with that stun. He doesn't connect onto the real one, and Crystallize is being slowed up by the Eye of Scotty Illusions. They use the Winter's Curse, but it's only onto Illusion, and now Pasha rolling forward on the backlines. Meanwhile, they lose Busy. They're going to TP out with the BKB, Ochre and Magical, but the Black Hole interrupts the BKB, and the rest of the side of Navi, they've left Magical by himself. He yours himself into the air, but I don't think it really matters. Now they have the Dragon Tail, and no one is going to be able to get that kill. Navi, a disastrous high ground attempt.
I'm not sure if you caught that, but Seneko actually used his Winter's Curse on a creep. The idea is nice of just keeping people in place for a few seconds, but in practice the creep just instantly died and he was down for like half a second, so I'm gonna say that was not worth it from Navi, and now they could potentially lose a Leshrac buyback here if VP does decide to commit for it.
Yeah, I saw he stunned something that wasn't a hero. I thought maybe it was a Naga illusion, but I didn't realize it was just a creep. Do you think that was a bit of a misclick, or he really was just trying to reset the fight with that Winter's Curse on anything?
Yeah, I felt like he was just trying to buy a little bit of time, but ultimately not very effective.
And Ramses, I know last time we talked about the Scuddy and in between, and now he's gone for the Diffuser Blade. So he has so much ability to kite that Sven, especially without his BKB, because he's slowed by the Scuddy, affected by the Diffusal, and we saw how effective it was on that high ground.
Yeah, Naga is getting scarier and scarier. I would start to get a little bit sweaty if I was Navi. There is a Tome on the floor next to the Radiant base, by the way. Roger does finally pick it up. No littering allowed next to the VP base. Meanwhile, Navi going for a smoke. This could be pretty obvious because no one is pushing the lane.
So, Pasha, in this bottom lane, Blink Dagger as well as Gotti agrees. I feel it's been a while since I've had a look at his item. The side of Navi, they really want to take a fight even after that bad one. But VP, they know about this and they're just sitting in there on their high ground. And they're going to be just fine, and their lanes, they're even taken care of just because of these Naga Siren illusions.
Yep, and we've seen this time and time again. Teams just trying to go for a smoke, but Naga is just pushing out all the lanes without any risk, so it's pretty much impossible to find these pickles, because the enemy team can just sit in the base while Naga illusions do all of the work. Thanks, Ice Frog.
I mean, the most obnoxious thing I've ever seen is when the Naga Siren teams get ahead, when she just sits on a high ground and sends her creeps to cut wave 1, wave 2, and wave 3. That is an unpleasant experience to play again. There you go, just more highlights on the map. I hear the yaws, but it's just for a Naga Siren illusion, I think. He really wanted to bottle that haste through Magical.
And I wonder what the game plan now is for Navi, because they really need to keep pushing lanes and finding kills, but it's so difficult. So
well, they have found someone here in the bottom lane. The Yules from Blizzy. They need a follow-up stun, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get it. Pasha, he doesn't have the Swashbuckle, but he does have the Rolling Thunder, has his TP. The Rolling Thunder TP, they're not quite there with the Winter's Curse to interrupt it on Seneko.
yeah, he couldn't quite get in range. He does have a blink now on the Winter Wyvern, which could be potentially huge. Then again, Roger is working his way towards a Lincoln Sphere, but until he gets it, his black holes are still going to be very easy to cancel.
And this Naga, they've all had to rotate just to clear her illusions out of the jungle. it's definitely getting very tough for the side of Navi. And just looking at the net worth graph, I can bet that their lead, you can see it slipping away and things starting to dip in favor of VP and the Naga.
Yeah, and if you look at the win probability, Dota Plus is already saying that VP is leading by quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, the only time it ever went even was when Navi had the Aegis, and after that high ground push, it looks like I know Dota Plus used to love Spect games, and now it seems to love Naga.
Even Dota Plus is saying that Naga is broken. Come on.
So Zayak over here, he has the Demetru sight as well as the Blink Dagger, and it looks like he did decide against that Ags. Against that Yule Scepter, just wants the Ags because does the Ags help you push, or does it just help, you know, de-push once that Naga Siren starts knocking on your base?
Well, it reduces the cooldown of your Impale, and it makes your Spike Carapace stun regardless of people hitting you. So in some ways it does help push as well as de-push. I wouldn't call it like a pushing item necessarily.
Yeah, it is impressive the amount of farm he's been able to get on this 4 position Nick. So you can just see the difference between Seneko and Solo. One playing true 6th position, and Seneko already got a Blink Dagger on his Winter Wyvern.
Yeah, it's pretty nice to have for sure. At the same time, Crystallize working his way towards a Bloodline actually, and he finished it completely. So if they do get the jump on Naga and they can get some chain stuns in, even with 4000 HP and 37 armor, she's not gonna be invulnerable. In fact, I believe that if she's stunned for 5 seconds, she's just gonna go down like any other hero.
Yeah, the Naga Siren, however, I think she really has reached peak Naga. While they smoke in to go for the Roche.
Does Navi expect this? It doesn't look like it, because they're super split and they have to deal with these Naga illusions.
Yeah, that's the thing, you never know where VP are because your lanes, they're constantly being... And Ramses, he's now committing towards the Roshan. Nako's here, he's put the... But he doesn't know that they're already inside the pit. He's just put these down so they don't know they're in the pit.
And now they saw Pasha coming out of the pit, so now they know. Or do they? Doesn't look like they saw it. They should have seen it.
Roshan is very low, but the rest of their team, they're all set up here. I don't know if they weren't expecting that Roche, or they're hoping to still get a pick off after it.
It just looks like they didn't see it. They see Solo now. This is a nice
Impale and Crystallize with that Bloodthorn, just eliminating the Disruptor. And now the Witch is cursed. They're holding the Dragonite in place. But they do have the Naga Siren pretty damn nearby. Blizzy caught by this there. They have the Vigil for him. Thanks to this morning. Crystallize, he's just tangling up with the Naga Illusion, not the real Naga. Pasha comes in and there's more than enough damage. They pop the BKB over on Crystallize. He's using his concept and it does allow him to clear through the Naga Illusion. Now they have the stun, they're controlling the Dragonite. The crits, it's a lot of damage. They have the slow. And Crystallize, he blinks forward and he's gonna find no one. Now they're looking for more. Navi, they didn't lose anyone in that fight. They're looking for a bit more. Magical, he's found the Naga Siren. Yule's up into the air. They don't have split up. They force the buyback out of no one. And the side of Navi, they can continue pushing if they want this tier 3 mid. It's pretty low, but they are going to respect the Dragonite buyback.
Even with an Aegis and cheese, it's still very tough for VP to fight into all of these stuns from now. Like, the moment the first stun comes out on no one, he has to pop BKB, because if he doesn't, he's gonna be stunned for 10 seconds.
Yeah, I really love what they did there on Navi. They, even without the Aegis, they weren't afraid. They realized they have to be taking the fights because that's where their advantage is. And so they just go for it, and it results in 2 good kills and a buyback.
Roger does have his Lincolns now, so I expect some big black holes coming out from him. With the BKB as well as Lincolns, there's nothing that can cancel his black hole, so if he gets a good one, could potentially just straight up win VP the game.
So Magical has the Shiva's Guard as well as this Bloodstone. Only 13 charges remaining. I thought he might have been involved in a few more kills, but it looks like after that death he hasn't managed to regain any charges.
They're not as important as they used to be. Could see a fight happening here.
Ramses, they do have the detection on top of sides. They have the stun, but he uses Spike Carapace inside. Winter Wyvern has the Winter's Cut. use it. It's not actually able to save side. They use the BKB Magical. They've killed Solo. There's a Bloodstone shot. What is he waiting for? It's a big black hole. This is what he was waiting for. The Wind Wyvern. But the Lincoln Sphere, he didn't know about this, so it didn't stop the black hole. And they waited to the Winston cut. But there's still a big epicenter. They use the Song of the Siren, and this going to allow them to reset or back up. There's no buyback here over on no one to eat the cheese. They use up on top of the Pango, but they're still focusing the Dragonite. They know there's no buyback on this man. Blizzy on the back line, taking a lot of damage from the Naga Siren. They have the stun to hold back the Sven, and they're retreating and appear no one. Over here, Naga Siren, Ramsey, he's big, bad, and he has the Aegis. Crystallize, they're still fighting into him. Is he going to be able to cut him off? He hits him with the Bloodthorn, but it doesn't really matter. There's no mana left. Blizzy, he has the stun. Magical doesn't have any mana. Ramsey's, he's just a tank. He has the hop. He'll soon be healing, and the whole side of Navi, they have no mana, they have nothing. But I take that back. They managed to kill off Pasha, getting a bit too aggressive on the hunger. Now Blizzy comes back in. He tries to get no one, but he missed him with that stun. Ramsey, they're getting very low. They're chasing him, but it doesn't matter. Then you have no mana left over on Zayak. Over here, you're going to lose it. Meanwhile, Magical, he's trying to kill off no one. They have lost the Nyx passage to the Naga Siren. They use that as a goal, but they've lost Roger once again. Now no one, he's very low. Crystalline, they pop the BKB, but Magical, he's managed to get a bit of mana back into this fight. He has the BKB, but the Rolling Thunder, the buyback here from the Pangolin has got them the kill over onto Blizzy. Magical with the BKB TP out, and that's the end of the fight, and I don't really know what happened there.
They got the Black Hole of Dreams, but they just didn't have the damage. They got the Black Hole on both the important points for Navi, but even the Naga just couldn't do enough damage to get through this tanky Lash and Sven. On this Enigma to make sure that they can actually do something with this Black Hole.
Yeah, I asked what Seneca was waiting for. He's looking for Magical. He has the Yule Center if he wants to use it. But he was waiting for the split up, but now he's affected by the Dispute Blade. Now if he goes for the Yule, it doesn't matter. Pasha there on top of him, even more illusions. And this is going to be a death himself. In Winter's Curse, if he wants to use it, he has to use it to save the life of Magical. And for Magical, he's still probably going to drop to that illusion. Do they have anything to save him? This DK, Dragonite is not able to pursue forward, and Pasha does get the kill over Magical. He has buyback, but now Crystallize stunned up. There is no BKB here on this, but it's just come up cooldown. He's able to TP away. Ramsey's with the Song of the Siren. They're all going to back up because Navi of the two buybacks.
Very nice awareness by Ramses going for that, knowing that Magical didn't have his Bloodstone and didn't have his BKB. So very heads-up play by him.
Seneca was holding on to that Winter's Curse for such a long time. Well, was he trying to get it on a specific person?
I think he just wanted to kill Pasha with it, because if you use it on the Naga, she's probably not gonna die.
Yeah, so he's looking to get it on top of Pasha when he's right next to the Naga illusions.
And interestingly enough, Crystallize built himself a butterfly now. So that's gonna help a little bit against all of the Naga annoyingness. I still feel like he needs an MKB as soon as possible though, because the moment this DK pops his BKB, Crystallize doesn't really deal damage to him anymore.
So Navi, they've taken a few, it felt like 2 bad fights in a row, and I'm just having a look at the buybacks, and they don't have one on the Nyx, they don't have one on Blizzy, they don't have one on Magical. So VP, is this their time, you know, to push to get a kill and then finally get to high ground?
They have a Naga anytime in the late game is their time, so they can just keep relaxing. As we've seen so many times before, in the super late game and the late game in general, team that has the safest ways of pushing lanes tends to have the advantage.
And that's definitely the team with the Naga Siren here.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to talk about No One for a second. His item feels a bit eclectic to me. I do like the Heaven's Halberds, but it's usually we see come out, you know, a tiny bit earlier against them.
I mean, no one just recognizes that he needs to be tanky. There is nothing else he needs to do. Like, he just needs to be in the middle of the fight, maybe throw out 2 stuns, but mostly just alleviate the pressure on this Naga.
So, Navi, it feels like they're a tiny bit on the back foot. Do they just have to try and keep up this aggression, really hope to get a pick off?
I feel like if they take the fights well and they get a good pick-off at the start, they can certainly still win fights because stuns, they remain relevant throughout the game. So if they find the right fights, I feel like they can definitely win them. But last fight, they were fighting into an Aegis and a cheese, so it's just harder as a consequence of that.
Honestly, a bit worried about the side of Navi because just Ramses, all these items, all that have is 4.4k HP as well as a butterfly, and I don't know if there's an MK beyond this Sven yet, and it just feels like they're not able to touch him.
If you can kill Ramses' team, you can kill him as well, just because of the Bloodthorn. So as long as you can get a good jump, you can kill some supports. Ramses in fight shouldn't be a problem. But it's all about finding that jump. It's not really about Naga in fight, it's about the map control that she gives.
Yeah, now she's asserted herself in the top lane here. But meanwhile, actually, the rest of her team, I thought they might be farming, you know, a bit more aggressively, but they have to take care of these other two waves.
It's like no one is getting close to his 25. And at the same time, we always speak about Solo as a position 6 support, but he's well on his way towards an Aghanim Scepter, which could be pretty big in this game.
So this game, it is going fairly long. We're at the 46-minute mark. Is there anything crazy that can turn this game on its head? Is there any item, or is it just standard? The Naga Siren team, they push in all the lanes. Eventually, they're able to push racks, and just this slow, suffocating death for Navi.
I'm never ruling out something crazy, but I feel like until Roche spawns, it's probably gonna be fairly calm. Unless Navi or VP decides that they just need the surprise factor. Just look at Sven struggling with these Naga illusions. This is torture. He has a DD rune and he can't kill an illusion.
Yeah, Crystallize, he's built a butterfly for himself. I think that's such an interesting item. Crystallize, he does have the money for his MKB if he's willing to forgo buyback, but I assume that's something he wants to hold on to.
He's so close to Ramses, he doesn't even realize it.
Yeah, just has to stun the Naga Siren illusions and walk away. That's not where you want to be when you're the carry of your...
Just imagine having 750 GPM and having to run away from illusions. Feels bad, man.
And the crazy thing is, Crystallize, with his Midas, he was on top of this Naga Siren for so long, but now Ramses has a fairly significant 5k gold lead. It's just, it is the Naga effect. Eventually you get to that point where it seems so tough to play the game. But they've managed to find a nice pick up here on the top lane. Solo overextending without the rest of his team. Pasha's there. They do have the Guardian Greaves from the Pangolier, just trying to save him for that little while. He will go down.
It's very nice that Blizzy has his 25 now, because he's gonna have the 50% Sandstorm slow and blind, and that's a very good way of dealing with this Naga. They do have Exo Blizzy as well, so it's not like they're completely out of options. It's just very hard to make these fights happen.
Yeah, I'm just watching the side of Navi, and they just struggle so hard with these Naga Siren illusions, even clearing out the waves, and it just makes me wonder what happens when they get to a fight. But there's an interesting item picked up for Ramses with his BKB, and that says to me he's looking not just to farm anymore, but maybe to fight.
It's telling me that he wants to farm, but he wants to have another layer of safety. Great. Roger, closing in on a refresher though. So that's gonna be even more scary for Navi now.
VP, they're patient. It's just... It's so impressive because I would think they probably that they're ahead. Meanwhile, in the trees, they didn't actually get the catch onto Zayak. They do have a gem over here onto Pacha, so they are able to get on top of it. The spike doesn't matter because he's in that rolling thunderbolt. And now with the Naga Siren illusions as well as the stun, they're gonna get that pick off on the next assassin. And he was the gem carrier for the side of Navi.
Doesn't have buyback either, so this should be a free Roche for VP.
Yeah,
that means potentially triple black hole for Roger here.
Yeah, and now that he has the Linking Sphere as well as BKB, there is no way for the side of Navi to be able to cancel it.
And it's even gonna be extra difficult for Crystallize to burst him down because he can't get off both the Storm Hammer as well as the Blood Torrent. He does have his MKV now, so that's gonna help a little bit, but still, it just feels very hard for Navi right now.
With this Aegis, are VP gonna look to push? I feel like they can definitely suffocate Navi. They've been out of their base for far too long, I think.
Can they push? Probably not, because they're into Leshrac, Winter Wyvern, mixed with Aghanim, Sand King, so I feel like it's quite unlikely that even with this Aegis they're gonna be able to breach high ground. We could be in for another 90-minute game here, because neither team seems to be able to push, and VP can choke Navi, but they can't finish the job.
Yeah, but at least they can, you know, pile on a tiny bit more pressure. Like, with games with the Naga Siren, I don't often expect to see creep, you know, past this halfway mark once the Naga gets to this size.
We have a single creep wave passing that point, so that's nice. Proves that there is still hope in this game after all.
I mean, it's nice for the side of Navi, but I think Ramses is certainly going to start to shut it down.
We've spoken a lot about how strong this Naga is, but at the same time, we cannot underestimate how strong Navi is in fights. Even when Roger has potentially 3 black holes and they have a Naga with Aegis, I feel like Navi can still win fights if they start off with the proper initiation.
And what is the proper initiation? Just being able to get through to those supports or the Enigma?
I mean, just getting a chain stun on a single hero and taking him down at the start, and it looks like Navi's patience has ended. They want to take a fight right now. They're done with this Naga.
They smoked up and they had the scan, but I don't think they're going to be able to correctly identify which Naga is real. Over here, Seneko, his dust breaks. He knows one of those is real, but he's actually just going to leap away to safety. And now, on the side of EP, they smoked up themselves. They didn't find Magical, not quite in range for that. No, they killed Roger on the back side. Oh god, I'm getting Tito's. They have the song, but Magical, he has the BKB, so he's still outputting damage. They've lost Solo, Roger buys back, and the whole side of EP, they're just teeping away from this fight.
That's a decent start. Forcing the Roger buyback, killing Solo, and he doesn't have buyback, so this could be a little bit of an opening to try and maybe take back a little bit of the map control that they lost over the past 10 minutes.
So what happened to Roger? Unfortunately, I missed it because I was too focused on the Naga Siren.
Well, the rest of Navi was wrapping around and they just ran into him and were like, hey man, how are you doing?
You're not going to be triple black holding today.
Nope. Not even a single one for now. Very disciplined from Roger that he didn't finish his refresher, so he did have buyback, even though it turned out not to be necessary.
Yeah, he did use that buyback, however, so, you know, Navi, they're still a bit on the back foot, but if they're able to get another pick from him, they'll know they can have fights without Black Hole.
Yeah, and on top of that, they only need to kill 3 4.5k heroes, and then they'll have killed Ramses without buyback.
Exactly, it's just so simple.
Yep. Just kill the Ancient. I mean, it's not that difficult.
It's in the name of the game. Your aim is to, you know, the name of the game is to defend the Ancient. It's not to kill the opponent's Ancient. And it looks like that's what Navi as well as BP are doing with the lack of pushing.
Yep, they're just playing the game it's meant to be played. The way it's meant to be played.
This is clearly what Ice Frog intended, you know. No one ever to go high ground.
Look. Alright, is it time to start vouching for the 20k gold I win button again? Because Ramses is halfway there.
At some point, you have to wonder, I know it would give you a bit less map control, but is it not worth maybe like letting Solo clear through some of these creep waves so he can get an item like his... Oh, he has his axe, I take everything back.
Well, he could still really use something like a claim cape and a blink to get reliably. I totally agree with you. But at the same time, you're gonna have to tell carry players to stop firing, and that's risky.
Yeah, I mean, what is he meant to do? He's almost quite 9-slotted. Sorry, the Aegis doesn't count, so I'll take it back. He's only Only 8 slotted here on the Ramses Naga
He
side.
doesn't even have a moonshot. What kind of pleb is he? Come on. Just buy it now.
Oh, obviously, he needs that moonshot. But what are you holding on to this much gold for? It looks like he is buying the moonshot, actually.
I would totally just give the moonshot to Solo so he can fire.
I mean, honestly, it would probably pay off, because then your Disruptor, he could get items that either be more survivable in the fight, like a BKB, or just do that little bit more.
All shenanigans aside, Solo did finally hit level 20, and that's when he gets 180 GPM, which is huge for Disruptor, and it's gonna allow him to catch up to the Wyvern and eventually be relevant in this game going into the late game.
Yeah, they found the Pangolier here in the bottom lane, but it doesn't really matter. Pasha with his Rolling Thunder. Oh! I didn't realize they've managed to get Seneko down here, so Rolling Thunder, it will end eventually. He blinks forward, they need the stun, but with the help of that Swashbuckle, he's able to close the distance, but Blizzy, he's on top of him. Blizzy also has a Hex, by the way. For the side of Navi, so much control on them, and that's another gem for them.
These are very nice kills they're getting. He does have buyback on the Pango, so it's once again not gonna lead into a push, but it's still a very nice kill. Ooh, Solo?
Yeah, they have the Yules on top of him, Magical, and the Hex follow-up, crystallized, and that's gonna be another kill.
Roche?
2 pickoffs
Is it gonna be
quick
up?
succession.
So
No.
it's gonna be hard to do anything with this, but it's still very nice that they get kills. It's something at least. Right.
So they get 2 good pickoffs across the map, but you're just, you're pointing out the main issue with the game is Navi, it just feels like they're never able to get any objectives, even when they get these great pickoffs.
It looks like they might be able to force some buybacks here. Because they do have one of the best talents in the game on left track, the plus 40 Edict explosions. You're just gonna completely tear through buildings. So I would expect some buybacks here from VP and maybe even the Enigma just jumping in with the black hole, killing Magical.
Yeah, Navi, we never expected them to make it to the VP side of the map, and this tower is just going to evaporate, get the stun on top of the DK, but they're sending in the Naga Siren illusions now. Magical, he's the only one in the front lines, the rest of them, they're sitting back, ready to counter-initiate, and he'll have that Diabolic Edict back up pretty damn soon. He kills the creep wave on Ramses, pops the BKB, but he's not going in.
I think.
And is this just going to be a melee barracks? They're not committing the buybacks from Solo or Pasha either, but the song, it's caught a whole bunch of them. It's caught 4 of them. The only one not affected was Seneko. There's that ball as well as the black hole. They're not able to cancel this. They use the Winter's Curse, but he has the refresher. Magical, he's able to live all through this, but the black hole, they've caught the spread. Magical, can he stop this? There's no BKB. He does. But Magical, he's gone down now. He buys back to be able to get back into the fight. But they've lost Crystallize. Well, they haven't lost him just yet, but they will eventually. It's the epicenter virus. They come back, and there is the 3rd black hole. They have lost Crystallize. They're holding Blizzy in place with Pasha. The Rolling Thunder did a little bit more damage. And now the rest of the side of Navi, they need to retreat. Magical, he TP'd back into this fight. And Pasha, he's actually got vision of Magical. Stuns him up. He needs a little bit more. They do have the lift, but they're dragging him back. Affected by the Glimmercate. They don't have the detection. I take it back. The slow on top of Pasha. He will have that Swashbuckle as well as the force off with the help of Zayak and his own Yule Scepter. It's a nice double impale, and it has allowed Magical to be able to escape. Zayak's TP away. They have the vision, so he will have to go down for his Latrak.
And they all have buybacks right now, but once again, we see the team that gets impatient gets punished. Multiple buybacks gonna be forced out here from Navi.
I thought it was going so well when they were able to get that tier 3, but they just really set off a really great fight. The Black Hole's controlling both Magical as well as Crystallize, and he wasn't able to output the damage he wanted to do. The Ramses with the song, they don't have another Black Hole, but they do have a standing song. They're on top of Magical, they know he doesn't have buyback, they have vision for him. They've lost the next assassin, but it doesn't really matter because they're about to lose something really bigger. Pasha is hexed up, but they've lost the track, dead for 120 seconds. Now they're on top of the Sand King. He bought back in this engagement, and Pasha looking for Crystallize, not willing to roll that deep because Ramses, the rest of his team, they're busy focusing on Rack. It's 2 versus the 5-man. They have the Sun Crystallize. He really just wants to cancel the solo, but Naga, Siren, Rams, and I think he's ready to fight on Crystallize. It doesn't matter about your BKB. It doesn't matter about your bug strength. And GG versus Pro in a 60-minute game, eventually to close out.
I'm just happy that Navi got impatient. Gone on for a long time if they didn't commit. I feel like this game was pretty much 50-50 because neither really had a win objective. But Navi just got impatient, they've had some kills on the high ground and VP just capitalized.